Hi, I'm KICHUK. I'm a black belt from Toronto, Canada, training out of Action and Reaction MMA. I got started in Jiu-Jitsu because I liked to watch Georges St-Pierre win fights in the UFC when I was a kid, and I wanted to do MMA, but I was pretty young. I was like 13, and my dad didn't want me getting punched in the head, so he had me try out wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu first, and I kind of just fell in love with the idea that a smaller opponent or a smaller man can beat a bigger opponent with strict technique. So I got hooked right away and started training almost full-time immediately. I always knew I was going to be a pro grappler. Just from the start, that was my goal, and I wanted to be a world champion, an ADCC champion, a no-gi world champion. I've given up on the gi dreams a little bit. I'm just not very interested anymore. I'd say the biggest thing for my career so far has been winning the Emerald City Invitational at 155 back in 2022. So I've been doing no-gi full-time for about a year now. I started training more heavily no-gi in 2020. I started splitting my time between gi and no-gi, and then by 2021, I had periods where I didn't do any gi, and then in 2022, I made the decision just to not waste my time training in the gi at all anymore. So actually, last time I did live work in the gi was 11 months ago, so we're a month away from being a year out. I usually wake up around 7:30 or 8. By 9:30, I'm running my first practice of the day. So we do about 30 minutes of drills and then an hour of live work, usually 30 minutes of situationals and then maybe 3 by 10-minute rounds. After that, I'm generally teaching 2 to 3 privates immediately after we clean the mats, so that keeps me busy until the afternoon. Sometimes I'll do some tape study before I leave, about 45 minutes to an hour a day on average, and then I usually do about 2 hours of dead drills at nighttime, so I just try to build some skills up that way, and immediately after I usually teach a class. It's a 90-minute class. We do 30 minutes technique.
Sometimes what'll happen is we'll be able to get inside of our opponent's arm, but just with a crossface. We're not able to expose the underhook. Right, another option we have from here is building up high and pommeling for our underhook. But one of my favorite attacks here, right, is just to cover the wrist. When I'm ready, I just cover the wrist, I punch it to his chest. Look, I pick his head up off the mat, I lean onto my left side, and I just throw my leg through. Okay, I chop, and now I bring my head forward so my weight goes onto my knee, and I can pommel my foot into the back of my second knee, sorry. And from here, look, I just turn my hip out. You get a really, really tight triangle.
And there's a bunch of super good guys in there, so I actually get a bunch of live work there as well. And that's a day for me usually. 2 training sessions and a nap, that's about it. I didn't really change my prep too much. I'm always training, even when I don't have anything coming up. My schedule is the same every day, but in terms of how I thought about my training, I focused a little bit more, no, not a little bit more, I focused a lot more on passing and top pins, as well as defensive wrestling, so getting out of bad situations from the feet, how to capitalize on sloppy takedowns, things like that. I intended to pass guard and to finish from top this weekend. I just had some issues with the rule set, with it being so short, 6 minute rounds, so I had some trouble implementing that game. I think next time I do 10-minute rounds, it'll be a little bit easier for me to start showing off what I actually had worked for ADCC Open, because I ended up basically just falling back onto my old stuff, leg locks and triangles. Okay, so ADCC, how did it go? I woke up in the morning, I had some oatmeal and some eggs. I rehydrated from the weight cut. I just went to the venue and just watched some matches, get kind of vibe with your surroundings, get used to what's going on, so nothing's gonna be a surprise when it's my turn to get called up. And basically, I just brought a bunch of mats from home because we drove out to Ottawa. We set them all up in the lobby of the school. We ran a solid warm-up. I realized I wasn't feeling too well, so that's when I really decided I was just gonna try to get the job done as fast as I can and tap people off my back. So going into the first match, I was trying to keep the food down from the morning, and I went out there and I just started attacking his legs relentlessly until I found a submission.
Just a little confusion in the match. I wanted to get the blood flowing, so I wanted a fast submission. So I just got out there, went after it, got the tap, and yeah, we're moving to the next round. Let's get it.
I think I had about 20, 30 minutes until my next match. It was more of the same. The dude attacked me with a pretty deep front headlock, but he left himself open and I just counter triangled him off of it and I got another quick finish. Then I think I had about 45 minutes till my third match. Really, really wily guy. He was jumping attacks, he was defending my initial entries really well. He actually had a pretty good understanding of what was going on the legs, but I did end up countering one of his leg attacks and heel hooking him.
Dennis, what do you think of KIERAN's performance so far?
Pretty standard from him. Pull, attack the legs, you know, wait for the points to kick in, play the game if he has to, but he's attack, man. He's always all attack.
And then I got a pretty quick triangle in the semis that wasn't too much of an issue. He kind of had low posture. I watched him coming in. I knew he would be susceptible to upper body attacks because he seemed very nervous about the leg exchanges.
You know what it is. Submissions in regulation all day. Let's go.
And in the final, yeah, I got my back taken and I got strangled by a guy I wasn't really aware of. He was very good. He took out two of the internationally recognized athletes in the bracket. He beat us both. Yeah, he's super sick. I'm looking forward to getting that match back, running it again, because I think he's an aggressive submission hunter. I'm an aggressive submission hunter. I like putting on shows for people, so if we can make that happen again, that would be awesome. You know, losing is part of it. Part of how I cope is like it doesn't make me a bad person, right? If you're losing a jiu-jitsu match, it doesn't make you a bad person.
I think as far as I remember, I attacked a triangle and he took bottom position and I turtled up after he tried to hit a pass and I exposed my back and he finished me with a triangle. Shit happens, I'll get better. It is what it is.
Back to drawing board?
Yep, of course. I'm going to be training tomorrow morning. I think I got a super fight coming up next month, so yeah, not going to stop. Just exactly same as before. Working day in, day out, proper sleep, proper nutrition. So I'll be back, I'll be better.
It just means either you're not good or you messed up. I haven't actually watched the match yet. If I did anything a little differently, I remember I had him in a pretty deep triangle and he threw his legs over and I gave him space because I was a little bit worried about dealing with leg attacks. So if I could do something differently, I just would have had a little more confidence in my finishes because I knew the guy was dangerous. I'd run watching him all day. So I feel I could have got the finish and actually come out on top just with a little bit more confidence in my A game. You can follow me on Instagram at LockandStrangle. And then I think next I'm gonna be competing at Kumite BJJ in Cincinnati versus the Hebrew Heartthrob. I can't remember his real name right now, but it should be a good match. It'll be 10 minutes, submission only. Thanks, Arwen.